on the side. But we can now call my next guest the king of sauces in Wagga Wagga, Jason Crowley, because his business has absolutely boomed. Rather creatively, the business is titled Crowley's Hot Sauce, and Jason's coming to talk to us about it because he picked up a whole swag of awards recently. Jason, thanks very much for coming in today.
No worries, thanks very much. Good morning.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the history of the business, because it really literally started as something you were doing just because you A, made a pretty decent sauce, and B, wanted to give it to your friends.
Yeah, well, it started out like pretty innocently, actually. I love cooking and making things. You know, as a kid, you'd mess around in the kitchen, but there was a day when we cleaned out the fridge and there was a chili in the fridge. Basically, this is where it started. Took the chili out and thought of, instead of germinating the seeds for my son from grass seeds, let's germinate some chili seeds. Windowsill, cotton wool, we ended up with 30 plants. They grew to 1.5 to 2 metres tall. 20 kilos of chilies. What do? You make some sauce.
20 kilos
We had 20 kilos of chilies in the first season.
So how much sauce did the initial 20 kilos make?
A lot of trial and error. You mess around with recipes, you try and get some stuff right, you get it wrong, you don't use it. Over time we gave some away, but when we really used the really good stuff, we ended up messing around with a few recipes and got some ideas from family and friends. And we came up with a couple of decent recipes that we just handed out to some family and friends, and one person said one day, man, this is pretty good, you could sell it. And that's where it all started.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a few people locally around the region who are making chili sauces and selling them. Do you think that there's something in what we've got here weather-wise, that it's a great climate and a great region to be growing chilies?
Yeah, I mean, the Riverina and general New South Wales regional area is great to grow a lot of product. Obviously, we need some pretty warm weather to do it, and most of the northern Queensland growers can grow some pretty good produce consistently. But now we're coming into our season. Anyone with a chili plant will know you can get some seedlings now, and some people have probably got some fruit on them at the moment, maybe even some flowers, and they'll get fruit off their chilies in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Now, what chilies? So, do you still grow all your own chilies?
Yeah, we still got the trees that we had from 3 years ago or 2 years ago. They're all bird's eye chilies, and they all go into our, I say mainstream products, our ones that are more approachable for normal people that like a bit of flavour and not too much heat. Now, the habanero ones,
You're saying I'm not normal?
Yeah, possibly.
You're not the first person to say that to me this week.
Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. But the habanero ones that go into our really hot product, the Haba Nice Day, they all come out of North Queensland. Still Australian product. Mm-hmm. We grow some here, but with the demand that we've had, we just can't grow enough down in this region, so we have to get them out of North Queensland.
Okay. Now, before I start, and I'm not doing this to delay tasting or anything, but there are people, and I've tried to explain this to people as well, because I do like hot chili. There is actually a reason for it. It's not just some sadomasochistic desire to burn the living proverbial out of the inside of your mouth. There's actually a solid reason for hot chilies, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. The oil that's in the chilies, the capsaicin, is basically what is the burning sensation that you feel on your tongue. Now, the human brain has receptors that pick up that, and the pain receptors in the brain register that. The less capsaicin in the chili, the less hotter it is. The less we use in the product, the less hotter it is. But over time, your body or your brain gets used to that sensation. So that's why people can start on a small level of heat and experience quite a lot of pain. Progress through that to the hotter ones over a period of anywhere between 2 weeks and 2 months, and you'll be at the end of that scale quite quickly. So,
okay, and you should actually eat your hot chilies early in the piece, because they enhance the flavour of stuff that you eat afterwards, don't they?
Well, some people think the jury's out on that. Other people think that the more chilies you have, the hotter they get, the less you can taste. But they do enhance your taste buds. They also increase your metabolism, and they are actually very, very good for your overall body, I say performance, but the metabolism, the endorphins, the brain function, all sorts of stuff. So apart from the practical joke side of the hot stuff in chilies, there's some pretty good stuff about it.
Okay. Now, you've brought in, and I like how you got the heat. This is a new trend that I've seen with a few chili manufacturers now, that you actually put the heat the number on the...
Yeah, well, our scale, we call it the normal people scale, and that's normal people who like a bit of flavour and like a bit of chili, but don't love it and don't hate it.
So your normal scale ranges from...
We've got 1 to 10,
yeah,
and that's where the normal people like to have their flavours. The 11, when we got...
That's what I'm laughing at, because you said it ranges from 1 to 10, and you've got 5 lines in front of me which say 4, 5, 5, 7, 11.
Yeah, so the 11 is the one that normal people basically rated and said it was off their scale, so we had to put it up there.
Okay. So that's the one that you want me to start with.
Yep.
You don't want me to start with the 4 and work.
No, I'd say start with that one. When you've got a clean palate, this really gives you the bang for your buck.
Right. Now,
I'd say don't have the bread.
Don't have the bread. Joe's brought bread in for me.
Bit of a teaspoon first, and I'd say for our uninitiated, probably a quarter of a 5-cent piece. But I know you can handle it a bit.
Now, are you videoing this as well?
I am absolutely videoing this.
Okay, all right. So this will wind up on your website, I can tell.
And we just actually had a review while you're pouring that.
We
got reviewed from a company called the Hippie Seed Factory on YouTube. If people type in "Have a nice day," they'll see the review that they did. The amount. Put the lid on and give it a shake. There you go.
There we go. That's plenty.
The amount you're actually going to taste, they had a tablespoon and they pour it over the top of their tablespoon. They smell it, they look at it, they taste it, and they wait 5 minutes and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was a fantastic product, and that was before the awards that we got. So that's probably enough.
Now this one has. There we go. Just to show to the camera that you brought in. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So this one's the silver. This one actually won the silver award. So while I'm tasting this and.
While you can't speak.
Tell us about the competition.
Yeah, the Sydney Royal Fine Food Awards. There's two competitions. One that's earlier in the year, and the current one that's in spring. The current regional competition, we entered that as a chili sauce category, and I think there's a large range of other categories.
Wow, that does have some kick.
But the categories we entered was basically the chili sauce category, and they basically test things for flavour, aroma. And the hiccups have kicked in.
The hiccups have kicked in. That hasn't taken long.
No, I actually had...
Why hiccups?
It's the body's reaction to things that don't really need to be there. It's an immediate reaction to the body saying, hey, hang on, something's not quite right here.
See, that's got a really great aftertaste there.
Yeah, and that was part of the other thing about getting the sauce up there to the competition was to demonstrate that hot sauce doesn't have to not have a flavour to it.
It does have a flavour to it. I do have the hiccups, but I love the flavour.
So I see you put that one over the other side of the table.
I'm putting that one over that side now so that I know which one I've tried and which one I haven't. Chili, and I've seen this. Are you looking to branch out into other areas? Because I've seen chili and chocolate.
Yeah, look.
Lately, and I've tried it and I found it a bit odd.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of chili and chocolate or chili wine. I've tasted them and some of them are quite nice. But I'm not a fan of it. However, I have had some people recommend different chili chocolate recipes. Mm-hmm. Not so much the chocolate, but more so a chocolate sauce.
Chocolate sauce, yeah.
And we could probably dull the chili right back down to, say, 0.1%, which you might take 2 or 3 mouthfuls to taste, but it would still have a complement effect. And we always have to try and find the flavours that complement chili, or chili complements the flavours. You can never get things that obviously counteract, and we've got so many failed recipes at home. The fridge is full of bottles, the cupboard's full of bottles, and I guarantee my wife's sitting there every day. I'll make a new batch and go, will you just empty out the old ones first?
And for a bloke who works for a multinational computer company, to refer to you as the Chili King is a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard you say that before, actually. I'd never even considered that. I just, an everyday guy that likes cooking, made a few good products, and the feedback that we've had on the products is phenomenal. It's actually quite humbling to make a product that people like.
Now, I've been asked to describe the taste. Other than the immediate burning sensation, and it really does come on very, very quickly. And I'm now salivating and not hiccuping anymore. This is going to sound really stupid, but it tastes... If you took a capsicum, and I think that's probably the best equivalent, if you took a capsicum and you took out the sweetness